Hello everyone, welcome to Wolf and Friends' gaming channel where we present to you top 5 Arkham Origins boss fights. Unfortunately, Wolf is not here. I am a friend of Wolf's hosting this for now. Number 5, Copperhead. You may be familiar with the battle. It's similar to the Ra's al Ghul boss fight, where you're basically fighting a lot of clones in a hallucinated world. Copperhead is a very challenging boss fight if you can't handle a lot of thugs basically swarming you. You have to block and blade dodge, which makes it harder when you're doing the New Game Plus or I Am the Night mode, because it's a lot more challenging when you don't know when she's going to attack you. Copperhead is one of the 8 assassins hired to go after Batman, and she is one of the good ones. She actually succeeds at poisoning Batman when you're on your way to rescuing Black Mask. You'll have to play the story to find out why you're rescuing Black Mask. But she's there waiting for you. She follows Batman and poisons him. You have to fight an army of her clones, making it even harder, as I said before. They keep swarming you and they keep coming out of nowhere respawning. Talk about Attack of the Clones, right? But, anyways, the boss fight is very challenging. As I said, I'm the night mode, and New Game Plus don't show you the attacks coming right at you, which makes it harder, and you have to rely on your sense and visualize the pattern of the assassins. Copperhead is a master escape artist who's breaking out a lot of times before, and she's taking up the bounty to go after Batman, and she's one of the few assassins that's actually doing it for the money, not for some sadistic pleasure or a challenge like most of the assassins are. Copperhead really lives up to the snake theme. She looks like a snake, acts like a snake, and tries to poison you like a snake. But Copperhead is a challenging boss fight. Number 4. Mr. Freeze. Yes, Mr. Freeze has made it on the list again. We counted the Cold Cold Heart DLC story pack. Sorry for those of you who don't have it, but it's a very fun and intriguing DLC that touches upon the origins of Mr. Freeze in the Arkhamverse. Cold Cold Heart is basically a repeat of the Batman the Animated Series episode Heart of Ice, which also had a similar origin to Mr. Freeze. And by similar, I mean the actual original version. Mr. Freeze is trying to rescue his wife Nora from a corrupt corporate executive named Ferris Boyle, who's taken Nora hostage to force Freeze to build him cryogenic weapons so he could sell them on the black market. But Mr. Freeze was betrayed by Boyle and mutated into his natural comic book self. Mr. Freeze has taken Boyle hostage, and it's up to you to fight Mr. Freeze to save Boyle, even if you don't want to. It's how the story goes. But Mr. Freeze is a challenging boss fight because his boss fight was upgraded from the original Arkham City boss fight. This time you actually get to go on gargoyle-like ledges and do wall takedowns on him easily. You can actually fight Mr. Freeze repeating the same tactics because Mr. Freeze is fighting Batman for the first time, so he won't upgrade against you. It's very fun, actually. You fight Mr. Freeze and thugs all in a bigger stealth room. It's another stealth boss fight, and you have to get his health to halfway there in order for the game to continue on with the story. Very fun. I recommend the DLC for any players. Number 3. Firefly. Yes, this assassin is a very challenging one. But like the majority of the assassins, Firefly is doing it because he wants to blow things up and challenge Batman. Firefly is very fun, but he is challenging as well because you have to use a lot of tactics against him. You have to use glue grenades against him and throw batarangs at him and batclaw him down while you beat him up. You have to constantly dodge his flamethrower and fire bombs, and he moves around constantly on that jetpack, trying to troll you, basically. The one negative aspect about Firefly's boss fight is that they repeat his quotes a lot, He has basically the same feats over and over again as you play the story. But it's actually a fun boss fight because it makes you think, just like a lot of the challenging boss fights. You have to constantly keep up with Firefly's speed because he gets more and more insane as the fight continues. Very intriguing since it's on a bridge and the level transitions a lot, so you don't get bored standing in one area just throwing things at him. Firefly, of course, he's doing this after you take down the Joker, but he wants to burn things because he's a pyromaniac with some demented lust with fire, and he wants to kill Batman for fun, and he's gonna blow up the bridge. You have to take down his bombs before that, and then you challenge Firefly to a very interesting boss fight. His is the boss fight that basically locks you to the end of the story. So once you face Firefly, then you have to go through the entire rest of the story to end it, basically. Number 2. That's right, Deathstroke. But some of you may be familiar with him as Slade Wilson from Teen Titans. Deathstroke is his actual name in the comic books. But those of you who knew that, you know Deathstroke and what he's capable of. Deathstroke is the most challenging assassin. Some of you might be upset that he didn't make number 1, but it's because that there's another challenging boss ahead of him. But Deathstroke is a great boss fight because it's very cinematic. The game developers went all out on Deathstroke's boss fight. You have to recognize his pattern of fighting in order to avoid him and escape his death. Of course, Deathstroke, as I said, is challenging because he uses a bow staff, and you destroy that, and he switches to swords to fight you. It's very hard if you're trying to get that one achievement you're after at. Point counterpoint is what it's called. You have to basically block every one of Deathstroke's attacks and beat him up without getting hit once. Very hard for those of you who want to get the achievements to improve your gamer score. But even on New Game Plus and I Am the Night mode, Deathstroke is even harder because you don't know when you have to counter his attacks, making the boss fight increasingly more difficult because you upset him every time you take him out in half his health at least. Deathstroke is very quick. You have to counter a lot in his boss fight, but people like him because he also got his own DLC. Unfortunately, it's only challenge maps. You don't get to play as Deathstroke in the main story, which really is sad, because he could have been an important part to the story that would have improved the game, since this game isn't exactly as high as Arkham City or Asylum. But they really went all out on Deathstroke's boss fight, and you have to admit he was a pretty challenging boss who deserved to be high on this list. And finally, number 1. Bane. Yes, that's right, Bane made the list again. Mostly, some of you who are upset that Deathstroke isn't number 1, we have to put Bane on this list because his boss fight was very much improved from his original Arkham Asylum boss fight. Instead of being a charging boss where you have to hit him with a batarang and dodge so he hurts himself a lot, Bane, you actually fight hand to hand, showing you that there was once a point in time where Batman and Bane could fight fairly in hand to hand. Of course, those of you who are playing Arkham Origins for the first time instead of Asylum or City might find this boss fight very challenging. Which it is. He does still charge at you, but your batarangs do not work on him at all in this game, making him twice as hard. Bane fights you hand to hand a lot. Of course, he cheats and brings out a lot of henchmen. Those of you who are stuck on those boss fights, just ignore the henchmen and go for the main boss. Bane, of course, cheats even more by upgrading himself to his TN1 Bane, which is basically the Bane we're all familiar with, his super steroid form, where he's some kind of deformed human abomination with an insane animal urge to kill people. His boss fight is both a fist fight like combat and a stealth boss fight for his final phase, which makes it even harder because you gotta beat Giant Bane within 10 minutes, otherwise he'll be unstoppable. Of course, those of you might think he's unstoppable already with his huge form packed out, but Bane's very actually fun, considering that you get a satisfying beatdown against him, and he's pretty much the real final boss of the game, since Joker's more of a cutscene boss. Bane's the real final boss, he's the real deal, and he's a real challenge against Batman, which makes him a very hard but very intense and interesting. All of you are familiar with what kind of a person Bane becomes with down the line, but this was a good origin story for him especially. Here are our honorable mentions, who unfortunately did not make the list. The Electrocutioner. Yes, some of you may be surprised that we're even mentioning Electrocutioner, considering that he wasn't really a real boss fight, he's more of a mock boss fight, since you take him down in one hit. But those of you who are upset about it, you should know that it's kind of the point that you're supposed to take him down in one hit, because it's trying to give you a more comical thing in the game. It's strictly for comedy. And when you wanted easy boss fights, I know it's not what you had in mind, but it was pretty funny to take him down. And the Joker. Who could forget the Clown Prince of Crime, who's actually the real enemy in the game? Yes, I know, sadly, the Joker is the main villain again in the Arkham game, but his boss fight was very fun considering that he's the final boss, but he's more of a cutscene boss, since he doesn't have a health bar and doesn't present a huge danger to those of you who've played the game. But it's very satisfying to beat the clown up and finally give him his well-deserved comeuppance. Well, that's it for today. Post, comment, like, and subscribe to our channel if you want to. We hope you enjoyed our top 5 list.